Hey guys, Sonny Bryson here, and today we're going to break down whole life insurance versus term insurance. Now, by the way, with 2020 going on, everyone is thinking about, hey, maybe I should go ahead and get some insurance. You never know exactly what's going to happen. And according to my favorite law in the universe, Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will usually go wrong, okay? You'll lose your job, then your car is going to break down, okay? So this video right here, we're going to break it down to the T and which one is actually best for you. And by the way, whenever you talk to a salesperson, they tell you, hey, this is very complex. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you exactly what it's all about. In reality, no, okay? The truth is, insurance is very easy to understand, and by the end of this video, you'll understand as much as they do, but you'll know exactly what they don't want you to know about life insurance policies, okay? So stick around to the end of this video. And by the way, if you're new here, I post videos every single day, so make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified. On top of that, also destroy the like button on this video right below here. It helps a lot with the video, so thank you guys so much. Now, the first thing is this, okay? There are three things you need to know before I even break down term insurance versus whole life insurance. And the first thing is this, okay? Whenever you talk to an insurance salesperson, they are not your fiduciary. Although they might have a fiduciary duty, in a sense, they're not really acting as a fiduciary. So what I mean is this, okay? They do not have your best intention in mind. They have a lot to gain by selling you a policy. So in reality, you really shouldn't trust a person that's trying to sell you something to gain a lot from it, and that is called a commission, okay? So keep that in mind. Tommy, is everyone bad? In reality, no. But I'd rather you know everything first, so you go in there not blind and they don't play you. The second thing you need to know is this, okay? Buying from a salesperson is usually going to be more expensive. You always hear, hey Tommy, oh hey Billy, I spoke to this guy on the phone, he helped me out a ton, but in reality, just skip all that stuff. It's 2020, go online and compare policy, because usually whenever you call a person personally, you have to basically pay them and also pay their commission inside of your premium, and that way the company can justify actually hiring is salesperson. So reality, going online is usually going to be a lot cheaper. And don't worry, I'll also give you guys some options when it comes to where to go online to find your policies. And the last thing you need to know is this, guys, okay? Life insurance is very, very important, okay? However, if you are right now in your 20s or early 30s and you have, for example, no family, no wife, no kids, then you probably don't need any life insurance. In reality, life insurance is someone that basically wants to start a family, wants to have kids, wants to have a wife, and knows, for example, if something happens to them, then those people that they actually care about are going to be out of income, because basically you're the one that provides income, whether you're the wife or the husband, doesn't matter. But the idea is you need to have your income there in case something happens to you, and that's why you want insurance. So that way, if something happens, they get a payout and they can take care of themselves while everything goes back to normal, in a sense, okay? Which it will never go back to normal, by the way. And by the way, if right now you're in your 20s or, for example, your early 30s, you're like, Tommy, I don't want a family right now. I'm all about the hustle and making money. In reality, I strongly advise you to reconsider. Bill Gates has a wife. Warren Buffett had a wife. Jeff Bezos has a wife, although it didn't end well. And I also have a girlfriend for like 4 years. Graham Stephan has a girlfriend. Kevin has a wife also. The point is, having strong females around you is always a great thing, okay? Powerful women around you are always great things, okay? So I don't like the whole like, oh, I'm hustling too much, I don't have time for a girlfriend. Just get the right girlfriend, okay? You'll have a lot more time plus more. Now, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if in the comments below you actually see people saying, hey, no, this guy's not right, this guy's not okay, because basically they might be people trying to sell you insurance and be like, hey, that's not true, because they have a lot of money to make, and I'm kind of stopping them from making so much money from you by telling you guys the truth, okay? So here's exactly what term insurance is, then I'll tell you exactly what whole life insurance is and what I think is the best idea, okay? Now, term insurance is basically exactly what it sounds like. You're gonna get life insurance, not forever, but for a specific time, a specific term, okay? So for example, it can be from 10 years all the way up to 30 years. And the idea is, if something happens to you within those 10 to 30 years, well, in reality, you are going to get a payout. Well, not you, because you're not here anymore, but your family is going to get a payout. And that's how it works. But there is one thing you need to know. In 30 years, if you get a policy that's like a term policy for 30 years, a lot can happen in 30 years, okay? Let me explain, guys, okay? I actually went online and I basically found a term insurance for me. Now, as you guys probably know, I'm 23 years old and I found a policy for $1 million. And all I have to do is pay $50 per month for 30 years, okay? It might sound expensive, but in reality, it's not as expensive as you probably think, okay? Now, the idea is that with term insurance, as you get older, usually you pay a little bit more in premiums, but again, it's always going to be more cheaper than whole life insurance, usually. No, always, okay? Now, the idea is this, guys, okay? You might think, Tommy, that's a lot of money, but in reality, I'm paying $50 times 12 every year. That's around $600. For 30 years, that's going to be a whopping $18,000. But again, I'm going to make around $1 million if anything happens. If it doesn't happen, well, I pay $18K, but at least I get the insurance of knowing, hey, my family is going to be okay for around 30 years. Big deal. Now, here is the worst thing that can possibly happen, like within 5 years or so. I get this policy, I start paying, and then one day I go to Starbucks to get some coffee because I love Starbucks coffee. Oh my gosh, I'm just kidding. But on my way to Starbucks, a bag of Skittles falls on my head, and let's just say, guys, I don't make it, okay? My wife's a call. My wife gets a call and they tell her, hey, your husband got hit with a bag of Skittles. I'm sorry, he didn't make it. On top of that, I know you have a 3-year-old, but you know, we are your insurance and we're gonna pay you $1 million. So at least you have that, okay? That's the idea. But you might say, Tommy, okay, that's a bad thing, but let's say, for example, you actually made it out of the ICU and you actually go those 30 years, and guess what happens? After that, you don't have any insurance, and then on that year 31, something happens to you, okay? And then another bag of Skittles falls on you, and this time, you don't make it. You know, Murphy's Law, anything that can happen will happen. Well, here's the answer, guys, okay? In 30 years, a lot happens and a lot changes. In 30 years, I will be 53 years old. By that point, all my kids have been in college, have been married, have kids, and basically have their own jobs and their own life. And on top of that, my wife most likely has, for example, some money in investments, and so do I. And on top of that, I have cash on the side and also passive income coming in. In 30 years is a long, long time. So the point I'm making is this, okay? Even if I, don't make it on year 31, by that time, it's been so much time that I basically had time to basically get my cards or my house in order, and I don't really no longer need like life insurance anymore, okay? That's the idea, because in reality, life insurance is only really for the people that are there that are going to require income. But if after 30 years, your kids still need your help, your wife still needs your help, then your husband still needs your help, in reality, you probably made a massive mistake along the way. And that's not my plan. Think about it, okay, guys? In 30 years, your house is paid off, okay? You don't have that expense anymore. Your wife is maybe going to work or your husband going to work, but not even that often anymore. Your kids already have kids, whatever it is, okay? So in reality, no one needs you anymore. I know it sounds kind of like mean or whatever, but you did a great job. And most likely, your kids, your wife, everything is put in a place where, hey, everything is fine. Don't worry about it. If it happens to you, everything's fine. But in 5 years, okay, I'm like 27 years old, something happens, then obviously they're going to need my help and also my income. So term insurance makes a lot more sense then, okay? That's the point. And by the way, if you're wondering, Tommy, how is it possible that insurance companies will pay you $1 million with a $50 policy every single month for 30 years, okay? The answer is, okay, the likelihood of something happening to me in those 30 years is actually very, very unlikely, according to like all the statistics that insurance companies actually have. And on top of that, if you guys don't know, one of the insurance companies that I actually found is called Banner Life, and they actually have around 1.7 million customers, and they've been around since 1949. So that's almost like 70 years or so. So imagine this, okay, guys, 1.7 million people looks like this. Imagine if everyone paid, for example, $20 every single month times 20, that's around $34 million every single month times 12, that's around $408 million every single year. So obviously, insurance companies make a lot of money. And the likelihood of you actually passing away within that time is actually very unlikely. It's a math game, and they have it very well down because in reality, they make a ton of money. And that is the idea, okay? That's how the whole insurance games work, okay? They make a ton of money, so don't worry about like, hey, how are they gonna pay you? But by the way, the companies I'm going to recommend here all have an A+ financial rating, and all have been around for a very long time, and also are going to guarantee your money. Don't go, for example, to a company that have very low premiums, but you don't know if in 30 years they're going to be around. That's going to be a very bad idea. So make sure they've been around for a long time and have a strong financial holding, because if they don't, although you pay like 20 bucks a month for $1 million, you won't get it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, now number 2, let's talk about whole life insurance. Now, because whole life insurance is guaranteeing the insurance company that they're actually going to pay you money at some point in your life, it is going to be more expensive, and the premiums are going to be more expensive, and they're going to reflect that. And the idea is whole life insurance is for your entire life. They have fixed premiums, also have cash value, also gain interest, and on top of that, some even pay you dividends. Now tell me, this sounds like an awesome idea. Awesome idea. On top of that, the interest you actually gain while it's actually gaining is actually tax-free, which is actually pretty cool, right? You're probably saying, Tommy, this is what I want. I want protection for life. Well, that's until I tell you how much more it's going to cost you. It might cost you sometimes between 5 to 10 times more than term life insurance, okay? But Tommy, it's okay. I'm willing to actually do that because basically I have my money growing also. I'm paying a higher premium, but in reality, I'm going to have coverage for life and my family is going to be fine for life also. But the truth is this, guys, okay? In reality, although the premiums stay the same for a very long time, you're paying around 10 times more, so it's going to cost you a ton more money than term insurance. And again, 30 years, again, is a long time, and a lot can happen in 30 years. You can get your entire house in order. The second thing you probably don't know is that basically the cash value, although you have that, in reality, as you keep getting older and older and older, because the premiums are so high. By the way, I found a policy for me that's around $688 per month. I'm 23 years old. I'm healthy. $688 per month, guys. That's how expensive it can actually be. That's around 10 times higher than the 50 bucks per month I'm actually paying with term insurance. That's how expensive it is. Now you're saying, Tommy, but that cash is gonna be there. In reality, once you get like beyond like 60 to 65 years old, you're probably gonna use that cash reserve to basically start paying off the policy every single month, because basically those premiums are a lot of money. And once you don't really have a job anymore, and if you don't have investments anymore, well, in reality, a lot of that money you actually have in term insurance, you can actually use it to borrow against it or actually pay your policies. And that's what you're probably going to do with that money. And on top of that, although whole life insurance is way beyond like 30 years, it's like for your whole life, in reality, like after 30 years, do you actually think that your kids are going to need your help? Like as they're already adults, as they already have kids, unless like one of those parents that basically give their kids everything, which is like not a good idea. The idea is that your kids are going to be fine. Your wife is going to be fine. Everyone is going to be fine. You know what I mean? So you don't really need to pay like $600 per month, even maybe more, to then make sure they're taken care of, because in reality, they're going to be taken care of because you did a great job within those 30 years if you did get term insurance, or even 10 years if you wanted to get 10-year term insurance. Now, there is something that you guys probably don't know, and I want to expose it to you guys right now so you understand exactly why salespeople are always going to try to sell you on whole life insurance usually. And the idea is that, as you guys know, people that sell you insurance usually get paid commission. Now, the commission right now for whole insurance is basically that insurance agent gets paid around 80 to 100% of your policy premiums for the first year, and after that they get paid around 15 to 25% additional every single year also, as you keep the policy open. So reality, that's why I say, although not every single insurance agent is actually bad, they have way too much to gain and you have way too much to lose, so you should go in there with equal footing. So imagine this, I sell you a policy for $600 per month, and the idea is that in the first year I get all your premiums. Well, guess what? 600 bucks times 12, I just made $7,200. I sold 10 of those policies. Well, I just made $72,000. And on top of that, I'm gonna get 15% every single year of your entire policy. Well, $7,000 times 0.15, I'm getting paid $1,000 every single year from your policy that I sold like 5 years ago. That's what I'm saying. They have way too much to gain when it comes to selling you whole life insurance. And overall, that's why I say you have to be careful when it comes to trusting the person who's going to sell you something and has too much to actually gain, okay? And by the way, I found a website to actually compare prices, and that website is called Policy Genius, okay? I'm gonna put a link down below, but again, I'm not affiliated. I have nothing to gain. I'm not gonna get some of your policy or anything like that, but if you want to check them out, check them out. Link down below. It compares policies that you know, hey, this one is cheaper, this one is cheaper. And by the way, Policy Genius, those people basically get paid on salary, not commission. On top of that, okay, the main thing is this: although I'm giving you Policy Genius, go out there and find other websites and also compare them, okay? I'm not affiliated with anybody. That's what I want to make sure here. I have no reason to sell you guys on anything. Now, tell me, what are you personally going to do? Well, obviously, whole life insurance makes absolutely no sense. And you might be saying, Tommy, I know it's expensive, but in reality, I'll have investment money inside there to give my kids and pass it on. It'll be great money to pass on generational wealth or whatever you want to call it these days. The idea is, that's such a stupid idea, and here's why. Because basically, if they're going to charge me $688 every single month, and you know, with term insurance is only, for example, $50, in reality, I'm going to be paying $638 difference towards whole life insurance. That's more money towards them. Now, here's what would happen if I just had my own investment plan for the future and also my family, okay? For example, say I took this money, $638, and I invested it into low cost, low risk index funds, okay? A great portfolio. Now, I would get around 8% every single year. By the way, if you don't know anything about investing, I have videos on my channel to help you with investing. But the app I use for investing is called Acorns. I'll put a link down below. But the idea is that $638 every single month towards my investments times 12, it means every single year I'm investing around $7,656. You can also do this with your 401k or, for example, your Roth IRA, but it's up to $6K. But the idea is this: can you guess how much money I'll have in 30 years if I did this consistently at an 8% return? The answer is I would have around $936,000 and $679. That's the idea. That's how much money I would have. But guess what? If you kept that money in there for 50 years, you would have somewhere around the lines of around $4.7 million. And that's what I'm telling you. The money, if you put in your 401k or, for example, your Roth IRA, whatever you want to do, is also going to grow tax-free. So if you ask me, Tommy, do I do whole life insurance? The answer is no. It's stupid. Don't do it. Just do it yourself when it comes to, for example, like, hey, I want to create an investment fund. But definitely get term insurance in case you don't make it to actually see your investments actually become very, very big in the future. So what I'm doing is this, exactly step by step. Okay, every single month I'm investing money into my investments. I invest a lot of money because basically I have a very high income, around like almost $90,000 every single year. You might not be able to do that, but the answer is you can put $200 or $500 to match your policy. By the time those 30 years go by, that's excellent. That's awesome. Again, I use Acorns to actually do this. It's simple and it does all the work for you. Now, I'm going to get term insurance for 30 years in case in those 30 years, a bag of Skittles falls on my head and I don't make it, and my wife or my kids and my mom need my income to actually help them. That is the idea. But I'm not going to pay for whole life insurance because basically, why the heck would I pay someone $686 for something I can do myself and pay such large premiums? In reality, it makes absolutely no sense. And the only people that are going to recommend it to you are going to be the salespeople. And maybe your financial advisor, because also financial advisors sometimes get paid with insurance also. So also keep that in mind. Whenever you get, for example, professionals to give you advice, ask them, are you a fiduciary? And if you're not, and you are, and you basically give me the wrong advice, can I sue you? And also ask the insurance guy, hey, how much money are you getting paid in commission? They're probably gonna say like, hey, I can't tell you that. Yeah, BS, okay? So that's all I have to say about term insurance and whole life insurance, and hopefully this video helped clear things out. Again, all the links are down below, but comment down below, guys, and let me know, did you learn something? Did it help you? And which one are you going to get? Again, Murphy's Law says, anything that can go wrong usually will go wrong. So you definitely need insurance, but just make sure you get the right type. That's the point of this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. As always, make sure to like this video. On top of that, also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you're notified. On top of that, if you want to talk to me one-on-one or text me, just sign up for my Patreon, link down below. Or for example, just follow me on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. And before I go, if you want to watch another video on basically how I invest my money, watch this video right here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And as always, peace.